Why can't we improve at golf? I've played with so many random strangers who, on the first tee, they'll top a ball and they'll say, "Oh, it's just my breakfast ball. Oh, that always happens." Someone will hit a shank and they'll mutter, "I knew I was going to shank it." It seems universally accepted that golf is this impossible game that we all have to suck at. But this doesn't have to be the case. So, like many of you, I used to suck at golf myself. But I was always actively trying to better myself. For years, I practiced at the range every single day. But more often than not, I actually got worse. I did have periods where I'd hit the ball decently. I'd play 9 holes, I'd shoot 4 over, was pretty good for me. Then I would proceed to literally forget how to hit the ball the next day. It was a rough cycle, to be honest with you. Because there's nothing more defeating than making progress, serious progress, flushing the ball, and then proceeding to literally forget how to hit the golf ball. And I think many golfers share this same experience as me. And it's rough. But I think this comes from a lack of understanding of the golf swing. And it comes, I hate to say it, from a lot of poor teaching of the golf game. So I'm lucky in my time to have had some good golf coaches, but I have heard some bad stories about some coaches who are very vague. You'll have coaches who are like, just feel the lag. They will literally say this in a lesson. They won't explain and elaborate on things, and everyone has their own perspectives. Some people like simpler thoughts. People used to tell me when I was in a slump, just swing the club. Just stop thinking, just swing the club, everything's gonna be great. I would do that, but to me, I thought, what does swing the club mean? Does it mean does it mean move my arms? Does it mean turn my shoulders? What does just swing the club mean? If you don't have a proper developed swing, you can't just swing the club. Because if you do that, you will swing incorrectly, more likely than not. So again, I was, in my endless cycle of failure that a lot of people struggle to break out from ever. So I thought to myself one day, okay, look, we're going to look at the golf swing analytically. We're going to figure this out. How can I give myself the best swing possible that is predictable? Can I build myself a system I can fall back on? I don't just want to chase an endless cycle of, here today I'm working on tucking in my pinky, then I'm going to work on rotating my hips. No, I want to develop a solid, structurally sound golf swing that I can rely on day in and day out. So about 8 months ago, I was so frustrated to the point I just thought I almost wanted to quit. But I went down one last deep research dig. So I began researching pro golf swings, right? We've all been there. There's Tiger Woods slow-mos. We love watching Tiger Woods swing, but how does Tiger's swing compare to other professional golfers' swing? Because obviously we know his swing is amazing. But what I asked myself was, what does Tiger do that other people do, right? We even see strange swings, like, for example, Jim Furyk. He has a strange swing, but he does things that other professional golfers do as well. We see golfers who are more flat, like Rory McIlroy. We see golfers who swing the club high and steep, like Scotty Scheffler, but yet they actually have so much in common. It's mind-boggling. So I realized professional golfers actually all have very, very similar swings. So I copied the aspects that all professional golfers universally do. They all, for example, laterally shift at the top of their backswing. It's a non-negotiable. They all rotate their hips and shoulders. That is a must. And I began building a blueprint that I could implement into my own golf swing. And I think that is the problem with most teachers, is you go to a lesson. I'm slicing it today. Okay, what are we going to fix? We're going to focus in on one little aspect of your game. A coach may say, all right, we got to close your club face. They give you a drill to toss your hands around to close the face, right? Because maybe you're holding off the face. Sure, in theory, that will fix that one singular problem, which is that you're not closing your face, you're keeping it open. But your swing is fundamentally flawed. So now you will just have a hook rather than a slice. You're not actually going to learn proper ball striking. And not every teacher's like this, obviously not. But there are definitely plenty of coaches out there who are not helpful to the average golfer. I think golfers want to hit the ball pure. They want to compress the damn ball. Because I know a few years ago when I started, I wanted to flush it. It's fun. It feels great. So the question is, how can we flush it? We can't just do one little baby itsy bitsy fix. We have to build a proper swing where we compress the ball. And again, professional golfers do that already. So by simply copying a lot of their moves, we can infer that if we replicate a professional golf swing, we will begin to replicate their results. And as you can see by my ball striking here, it's begun to work for me. And I want to teach that to you all. Now, there is one other aspect of improvement, though, that really helped me. So once I found the system, I began to improve. Because when I practiced, I would take a video, I would compare, I'd say, is my takeaway in a professional takeaway, right? Most pros don't pull their hands inside them with the club way back and open, right? Generally, they turn their shoulders. The club is more often than not outside their hands. There's exceptions, but generally speaking, that's the case. That's something we can work with, and that I can compare myself to. So I began getting more comfortable with the golf swing. But the question is, how do we implement this, right? Because a lot of coaches too, this is what I also struggled with. I had one really good teacher I really liked, but I was still struggling because I could never permanently implement the swing changes he gave me. So he would say, he taught things different than I do them now, but it was good. It was good stuff. It would work, right? There's different ways to play golf. He would say, set your wrist to your hip, bring it up. Okay, I would do that. And then once we began to work on the next thing, I would lose the takeaway. My takeaway would just naturally change. So what I learned is we actually have to reprogram our bodies. And I think this is for anyone watching this right now, this is the key takeaway. In order to actually see improvements in the golf swing, we have to reprogram our muscle memory. Because when we want to go out and just swing, we have to have a movement that's so ingrained that without thinking, it's proper. Because I'm at that point now too, without thinking. Like before, someone would say just swing. I'm like, what's that mean? Now when someone says just swing, I literally hit all my positions. But that's not luck. I didn't just, it was practice because I did drills. I did drills to ingrain what I wanted to work on. So say hypothetically you want to work on a better takeaway. Find a drill for you that encourages that, right? You want to take your hands more out? Okay, find a drill where, say, you start with the club like on the heel or something, you keep it out. I don't know, that's just an example, right? Find a drill that works for you and hammer it in. A drill I personally love is where you start, instead of your club resting on the ground, you start with it at hip heights. Then you can make sure you have a perfect takeaway, and it helps with your sequencing. So for me, by starting at my takeaway, I can make sure, okay, is my club in the right spot? I can look and check if my takeaway's in the right spot. That allowed me to perfect my takeaway. And now I don't even have to do that drill anymore because I locked it in for months and months. I can close my eyes and swing, and I bet you my takeaway would look proper. So this was more of a rant, to be honest. I don't know how many people are going to see this, but we're going to recap for everyone who's here. What you can take away from this video is, my struggle with golf. I explained it to you, couldn't get better. So I began implementing pieces of professional golf swings that work. But the really big thing is the how. How did I implement these pieces? It's the reprogramming of the golf swing, right? And that's what I want you to take away. You can't just hit balls. You can't override your muscle memory. It's a losing battle. If you have a full swing, you take it inside, you want to take it out. It's tough. You can even, if you feel like you're taking outside, sometimes you're still not, right? It's the whole feel versus real thing. So the key to overriding your muscle memory is drills and slow motion small swings, where you can override your natural movement, perfect it until that new movement becomes your natural movement. And this can apply for any swing change. That's why I recommend hitting with, practicing with shorter irons, wedges, makes it a lot easier to control. And it's a lot easier to implement the changes you're trying to make. So I hope, everyone walked away with something to learn. And I'm an aspiring golf coach because I wish I had someone who taught golf in the same way as I did earlier on in my golf game, right? It would have saved me a few years. So I really want to help other golfers out. So, I'm still in the early progress of this, early phases of building a proper program and whatnot. But if you're interested in any help right now, I have my Instagram and website below. You can sign up on my email list. We're going to come out with a course eventually. But if you want to work with me one-on-one, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I actually want to help people for free right now. So at the time of this recording, if you see this, and the video just came out, I want to help you for free. So that way later on when I release something I charge for, I can genuinely feel like I know this will help people. I know this will help people and golfers improve. So yeah, if you're stuck in the golf swing, you can't compress the ball, and you're struggling, reach out to me. I want to help you for free. So if you made it this far, it's enough of this rant. I'm just trying to upload YouTube videos, man, share my experiences. So I appreciate anyone who made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. I guess drop a sub, check out my Instagram. That's my primary social, but I'm going to be uploading more here on YouTube too. And don't feel afraid to reach out. I'd love to work with anyone. So just don't whack balls mindlessly on the range. Deliberately hit your balls and have a good one.